Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Boxiest, and today we are going to continue the What If series. What if events had gone differently? And in this What If, we're going to change the history of Cobra Kai. What if Demetri was in the Karate Kid? So in this timeline, Demetri would be alive in 1984. Demetri would still be a student at West Valley High. He would still be bullied, but it wouldn't be by Johnny or the Cobra Kais, and the events of the Karate Kid would still carry on. Daniel would still move to the valley, and he would still be invited to the beach party. Johnny and the rest of the Cobra Kais would still show up, and Johnny would still want to talk to Ali, and Daniel would still want to get involved, so those events would stay the same. Johnny and Daniel would still become enemies, and the events of the Karate Kid would continue. Daniel would be the new kid at the school, and he would be picked on by Johnny and the Cobra Kais. Demetri would see this, and he would want to talk to Daniel, so Demetri would introduce himself to Daniel, and he would want to give him some advice. He would tell Daniel that he should stop pursuing Ali, or the Cobra Kais would continue to bully him, but Daniel wouldn't take Demetri's advice. Demetri and Daniel would have a couple classes together, and they would start to become friends, and Daniel would continue to hang out with Ali and Demetri, and since Demetri was Daniel's friend, he would become a new target for the Cobra Kais, so the Cobra Kais would start messing with Demetri, and the events of the Karate Kid would still happen. Daniel would still be saved by Mr. Miyagi, and they would still go to the Cobra Kai dojo. The Cobra Kais would promise to leave Daniel and Demetri alone if Daniel fought during the All Valley. So Mr. Miyagi would start training Daniel, and he would still have him do chores. And at school, Daniel would complain to Demetri, but Demetri would explain that Mr. Miyagi was having him learn muscle memory, so Daniel would get Miyagi-Do a lot sooner in this timeline, and the events of the Karate Kid would continue. Daniel would continue to train with Mr. Miyagi. Daniel would want to invite Demetri to join them, but Demetri wouldn't be interested. He would say that he doesn't need the humiliation of getting beat up in front of the whole valley. In the night of the All Valley, Daniel would still fight, and the tournament would stay the same. Daniel would advance in his matches, and he would still beat the Cobra Kais. He would still fight Johnny in the finals, and he would defeat Johnny using the crane kick, so Daniel would still be the 1984 All Valley champion. And after the tournament, Demetri would decide to give Miyagi-Do a try, so Demetri would start training with Mr. Miyagi and Daniel, but Demetri wouldn't get the moves as fast as Daniel in this timeline, but Mr. Miyagi would have more patience with Demetri, and eventually Demetri would learn karate. Daniel and Demetri would continue to be friends. The events of the Karate Kid 2 would still happen. Daniel and Mr. Miyagi would still go to Okinawa, but Demetri would stay in the US, and in Okinawa, Daniel would still fight Chosen, and those events would stay the same. By the time they get back, Daniel would tell Demetri all about Okinawa. Daniel would still want to invest in Mr. Miyagi's little trees, but Demetri would tell him that that was a terrible financial decision. So in this timeline, Daniel would never invest in Mr. Miyagi's little trees, and he would go to school. Carice would still go to Terry Silver, and Terry Silver would still want to get revenge on Mr. Miyagi and Daniel. So Terry Silver would still hire Mike Barnes, and Mike Barnes would intimidate Daniel and Demetri, but Demetri and Daniel would fight back, but Mike Barnes would still beat them. The events of the Karate Kid 3 would carry on. Mike Barnes would still force Daniel to sign up for the All Valley. Those events would stay the same. Terry Silver would still try to manipulate Daniel, so Daniel would start training with Terry Silver, but Demetri wouldn't trust Terry Silver in this timeline. He would do some research, and he would find out that Terry Silver was the CEO of Dynatox Industries, so he would tell Daniel and Mr. Miyagi, so Daniel wouldn't trust Terry Silver in this timeline, and he would continue training at Miyagi-Do, and the night of the tournament, Daniel would still compete, and he would still fight Mike Barnes. Those events would stay the same. Daniel would still defeat Mike Barnes in this timeline, so Daniel would be the two-time All Valley champion. Cobra Kai would shut down. Daniel and Demetri would continue to train with Mr. Miyagi over the years, and that is where I'm going to end this What If. Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think would have happened if Demetri was in the Karate Kid? Let me know in the comments below. YouTube lets me know that the majority of you are not subscribed, so if you guys could subscribe, that would be much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And I'll see you guys next time.